Nothing beats a good ghost story, and our planet is chock full of them. UFO sightings in Transylvania, murders on luxury cruise ships, and spirits wandering the halls of British castles. No matter where you are traveling, you are sure to find some sort of haunted landmark, as well as a ghost tour to go along with it. But even if you are not a fan of paranormal activities, some of the spookiest locations are still worth your time. Whether for their beautiful architecture, jaw-dropping locations, or fascinating histories, here are the most haunted places in the world you will want to visit any time of the year. Chuuk Lagoon, Micronesia.
Are you scared?
What's even scarier than a haunted graveyard? Probably a haunted graveyard that sits 50 feet underwater. Micronesia's Chuuk Lagoon served as a fortified base for the Japanese Navy during World War II. Dozens of warships, planes, tanks, and railroad cars sank to the bottom of the lagoon, where they remain today in what is known as the Ghost Fleet of Chuuk Lagoon. The ship graveyard is immensely popular with scuba divers, with Paddy dubbing it one of the best wreck diving destinations on the planet. Underwater explorers can swim up close to the Wharton vessels, which are littered with weapons, gas masks, and according to some superstitious divers, a few waterlogged ghosts. St. George's Church, Czech Republic.
Are you scared? I can see you.
Originally built in 1352, St. George's Church boasts quite a history. The building was nearly destroyed by fires many times over the centuries, and its roof partially collapsed during a funeral service in 1968. After that event, the congregation became convinced the church was haunted and refused to enter as a result. The building was stripped by robbers and fell prey to vandalism. That all changed in 2012, when an art student at the University of West Bohemia had an idea to lure visitors back to the church. A collection of 30 ghost sculptures sitting in the pews with their heads bowed. Today tourists have flocked to the ghost church to snap photos and even sit among the unmoving specters while praying. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. The castle-like Eastern State Penitentiary took solitary confinement to new levels when it was built in 1829. Prisoners lived alone, exercised alone, and ate alone. When an inmate left his cell, a guard would cover his head with a hood so he couldn't see or be seen. The prison had to abandon its solitary system due to overcrowding in 1913. Although the forms of punishment did not get any less severe before it closed for good in 1970, the site now welcomes thousands of visitors every year, both for its museum and Halloween celebrations. Reported paranormal happenings have included disembodied laughter, shadowy figures, and pacing footsteps. Oh Madam, United Arab Emirates. There is something eerily beautiful about ghost towns, and Al Madam is no exception. Located in about 40 miles southeast of Dubai, the village was most likely built in the 1970s and deserted shortly after, a fact that local legend attributes to jinns scaring people straight out of town. No one knows whether or not the spirits have lingered, but Al Madam still has a sort of haunted quality to it. Dunes encroaching on the 2 rows of houses in a mosque, sand falling through broken windows like waves, and a seemingly endless sea of ochre deserts stretching out in every direction. Gunnover, Iceland.
Are you afraid of the dark?
If you already thought Iceland had an otherworldly quality to it, just wait until you hear the story behind Gunnover, the country's largest geothermal mud pool. A woman who lived on this slice of the Reykjanes Peninsula some 400 years ago. After dying of starvation, her spirit came back home to violently murder her former landlord and his wife. The local townspeople called upon a priest to take care of their little ghost problem, which he solved by casting Gunna into a boiling hot mud pool. While no other supernatural murders have occurred since then, some visitors claim to catch glimpses of Gunna's ghostly figure through the billowing mist of the pools from time to time. Lee Castle, Ireland.
You can hear me in your mind.
Built at some point between the 13th and late 15th century, this Irish castle has seen more gruesome deaths than a Game of Thrones wedding. As legend has it, during a struggle for power within the Curl clan, one member plunged a sword into his brother, a priest, as he was holding mass in the castle's chapel. The room is now called the Bloody Chapel, and the priest is said to haunt the church at night. The horror doesn't end there, at least not according to the Macabre History outline on Leap Castle's website. During renovations in the early 1900s, Wharton found a secret dungeon in the bloody chapel with so many human skeletons. They filled 3 cartloads when hauled away. The dungeon was designed so that prisoners would fall through a trapdoor, have their lungs punctured by wooden spikes on the ground, and die a slow, horrific Poveglia Island, Venice.
Are you afraid of the dark? Are you scared?
Less than half a mile from the canals of Venice, Poveglia Island has served as a quarantine zone for bubonic plague victims, storage space for Napoleon's weapons, and the site of an early 20th century insane asylum. The asylum played host to horrific medical experiments, reports the Travel Channel, and finally closed for good when a doctor threw himself off the institution's bell tower. Locals still claim to hear echoing chimes from the island even though the bell was removed decades ago. It's illegal to visit Poveglia today, but you can see the island and decaying hospitals safely from the beaches of nearby Lido. Myrtle's Plantation, Louisiana. Built in 1796 by General David Bradford, Myrtle's Plantation is considered to be one of America's most haunted sites. The house is rumored to be on top of an Indian burial ground and is home to at least 12 different spirits. Legends and ghost stories abound, including the tale of a former slave named Cho, who had her ear chopped off after she was caught eavesdropping. She got her revenge by poisoning a birthday cake and killing 2 of the plantation owner's daughters. But then she was hung by her fellow slaves. Cho now reportedly wanders around the plantation, wearing a turban to conceal her severed ear. Burg-Eltz, Germany.
Are you scared?
Burg-Eltz dates back to 1157, so you better believe the list of mice surrounding the castle is quite long. The most compelling tale is that of a young countess named Egg, who was betrothed to a fellow noble but called off the engagement after she met him. The scorned nobleman laid siege to the castle, and Eggs perished after taking up arms to defend her castle. Her mournful spirit can still be sensed today, most strongly in her former bedroom with her pierced armor and battle axe on display. So how's our video? If you like it, do comment and share our video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel for more full of mysteries and fact-related videos.